Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodhanandana Raja Janaranjana Yashodhanandana Raja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Hari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribhaja Kacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishima A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribhaja Kacharya Ashtotara Shata Shishima Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vindiki Karantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Dai Gaur Premanandi. Glory to these humble devotees, all glory to these humble devotees, all glory to these humble devotees, all glory to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, may I have your permission to give an introduction? May I have your permission to give an introduction? Hare Krishna. It's our great fortune to have the association today of His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj. Maharaj is a disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and has been serving in Srila Prabhupada's mission for the last almost 50 years. Just next year, 50 years will be completed, Maharaj was telling. So I'd like to briefly introduce Maharaj. Maharaj was born in the United States and he studied nuclear physics at Purdue University. And after studying so much science, he became disenchanted with the science. And in the University of Texas, he came in contact with the Hare Krishna devotees. But it was much later, during his military services in Panama, that this encounter got fructified. He met the devotees earlier, but when he was in military services, then he was more closely in touch and he took to Krishna consciousness. After concluding the military services, he joined the pioneering group of Krishna devotees in Central America while being stationed in San Jose of Costa Rica. He attended the 1976 Mayapur Vrindavan festival and was initiated by Srila Prabhupada in that festival. And he received sannyas initiation in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil in 1982. So his early contribution in ISKCON Costa Rica was centered on administrative services and distributing BVT publications, beginning from 1975 in USA and from 1976 to 78 in the Central America. He became the temple president for Costa Rica Temple in 1978 and then began traveling around Latin America, opening new temples and establishing worship centers and collaborating in diverse administrative services as well. In 1987, he became a member of the Governing Body Commission with zonal assignments in Tucson area of Arizona and Mexico. He is co-zonal secretary for El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Panama, Belize, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Colombia, Trinidad, Tobago, and Venezuela. He has been very interested in the essential role that communication plays in ISKCON's progress and in the lives of individuals associated with it. So he seeks to assist the devotees to cooperate in harmony, personally and collectively, through clear and open communication. And this Latin America zone where Maharaj is serving and preaching and managing, this has been in practically the toughest zone in the entire world, because these areas are not very well-to-do financially, and nor does it have any spiritual culture. So they come under the poverty zones where it's very difficult to maintain a temple and maintain the devotees. So Maharaj continued to struggle to keep these temples enlivened and maintained and running, and always encouraging the devotees. So despite of his recent health challenges, Maharaj is continuing to serve in his maximum capacity, and Maharaj is very well known for his humility and kindness upon all the devotees. So we're very happy that Maharaj is here. We also want to thank His Grace Chaturmurti Prabhu and his family who invited Maharaj here and hosted him and are getting his association. Prabhu, you'd like to add something?
Maharaj is a close friend of his own, Swami Maharaj. And I have met him before in other places, Mayapur, Vrindavan before. And this time I requested him, because Maharaj comes for GBC meetings. After that, he has little time to go to 1 or 2 temples in India. And I requested him that one of the temples can be Pune also. Told him every time, you are most welcome, Maharaj. In Pune, we have a small temple also in the camp, which is close to the Pune station. And that was the first temple. Then we have this temple. So whenever you come, Maharaj, please kindly give your association to us. And also, Maharaj gave us a brahmachari class a couple of days ago. It was so deep and very profound, because he has lived a life of renunciate many decades. So the rich treasures of wisdom that we received from him that day was very memorable for us. And we look forward for Maharaj's holy association more and more in Pune. Hari Bol!
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 2nd chapter, text number 7. I want to, I pray to Srila Prabhupada and to their lordships that by the mercy of the Vaishnavas I can say something meaningful. Ayam hi krita nirvesho janmakot yam hasam api yad vyajahara vivasho nama swastyayanam hare ayam hi krita nirvesho janmakot yam hasam api yad vyajahara vivaso nama swastyayanam hare ayam hi krita nirvisho janmakodyam hasamapi yad vyajahara vivasho nama swastyayanam hare. Krita nirvesho janmakotyam hasamapi Yavyajahara vibhasho namasvastayanam hare. Janmakodyam hasamapi yavyajahara vibhasho namasvastayanam hare. Amhikata vivesho Tanmakodyam hasamapi Vyajahara vibhasho Namasvastayanam hare. Vaishnavis, Ayam hekata vivesho Tanmakodyam hasamapi Vyajahara vibhasho Namasvastayanam hare. Ayam, this person, Ajamil, he indeed, Krita Nirvisha, has undergone all kinds of atonement. Janma, of births, koti, of millions. Amhasam, for the sinful activities. Api, even, yet, because. Vyajahara, he has chanted. Vivasha, in a helpless condition. Nama, the holy name. Swastiayanam, the means of liberation. Hare, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Ajamil has already atoned for all his sinful activities. Indeed, he has atoned not only for sins performed in one life, but for those performed in millions of lives. For in a helpless condition, he chanted the holy name of Narayan. Even though he did not chant purely, he chanted without offense, and therefore he is now pure and eligible for liberation. Everyone can please repeat. Ajamil has already atoned for all his sinful actions. Indeed, he has atoned not only for sins performed in one life, but of those performed in millions of lives. For in a helpless condition, he chanted the holy name of Narayan. Even though he did not chant purely, he chanted without offense. And therefore he is now pure and eligible for liberation. Purport. The Yamadutas had considered only the external situation of Ajamil. Since he was extremely sinful throughout his life, they thought he should be taken to Yamaraj, and did not know that he had become free from the reactions of all his sins. The Vishnudutas therefore instructed that because he had chanted the 4 syllables of the name Narayan at the time of his death, he was free from all sinful reactions. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes the following verses from the Smriti Shastra. Namo hi yavati shakti papa nirharane hare tavat kartum na shaknoti pattakam pattaki nara. Simply by chanting one holy name of Hari, a sinful man can counteract the reactions to more sins than he is able to commit. From Brihat Vishnu Purana. Aveshenapi annamni kirtite sarvapattakai pumam vimuchate sadhya simha trashtaye mrigayariva. If one chants the holy name of the Lord, even in a helpless condition or without desiring to do so, all the reactions of his sinful life depart, just as when a lion roars, all the small animals flee in fear, from Garuda Purana. And Sakrit Uchcharitam Yena Harir It Yaksharadayam Padha Parikarastena Mokshaye Gamamam Prati. By once chanting the holy name of the Lord, which consists of 2 syllables, Hari, one guarantees his path to liberation, Skanda Purana. These are some of the reasons why the Vishnu Dutas objected to the Yamadutas taking Ajamil to the court of Yamaraj. Om Jnanatimanandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Vichaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vastyatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So before speaking directly on this verse, I was reflecting a little bit on the previous chapter because it is so similar to the dilemma of Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. We see the same pattern. Otherwise, the problems we have in this material world, just like Srila Prabhupada said so many times, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. These are the only problems. Everything else is just created from those problems. So if we can minimize these things and see them as simply bodily necessities, and not even, they're necessary, but they're not important. They're not so important. They have no impact on our eternal relationship to Krishna. Actually, Rupa Goswami, when I first read the verse, Utsahan Nishchaya Dairya Tat Karma Pravartana, I thought that actually these are universal principles. We find them everywhere. Some business person is very enthusiastic, has faith in money and position, and patiently awaits the result, follows the system. Rupa Goswami very intelligently took these things. Well, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually did. He took these things. It's like if we look in any scripture in the world, na dana, na janas, na sundari, these principles are all there. But our acharyas have put them in such a way, and Srila Prabhupada especially, that they become a teaching and a principle, pramana that we should follow. So even long before Arjuna was in a dilemma, here is the dilemma of the Yamadutas. They're, as it says here in the purport, they could only see the external situation. It's like Krishna says, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Krishna is warning us, be careful with the Vedas. Just like we have Arya Samaj and other groups, they only follow the 4 Vedas, but who can follow the 4 Vedas? Who's going to chant all those hymns? No, they don't chant all those. Maybe they have some Brahmin here or there that does so. And if he does, it will take so long to chant them, and nobody will understand. So what is the use? Just like in one of these previous verses, it says, speaking about leadership, a king or government officer should be so well qualified that he acts as the father, maintainer, and protector of the citizens because of affection or love. So Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, he says, but when you have a leader, otherwise the Vishnudutas are actually chastising the Yamadutas, saying, I know your leader, Yamaraj, he's a pure devotee, but you are creating an image of him as an incompetent leader. Otherwise, he's chastising them. That by your insufficient knowledge and lack of understanding of real dharma, the Bhagavatam begins, Savai Pumsa Paro Dharma, Yato Bhaktir Doksaje. Real dharma means to dedicate oneself to devotional service. And so you're saying that he's supposed to be the father, otherwise he's supposed to be a king. But what kind of a king would cause suffering to his people? In Srila Prabhupada's translation, he says, where will the citizens go to take shelter for their maintenance and security? Otherwise, is the king or is your leader, is Yamaraj so ignorant of religious principles that he will neglect the welfare of the people? He will just enforce some rule or some regulation. Just like here in India, they have kind of Raganuga government. And the people just follow according to their ability to do so or according to the situation. It's like that everywhere in the world. Just here, it's a little more Raganuga in India. And what to speak of some other places like Mexico, where I perform some service. So the point is that just like Narada Muni told Vyasadeva, people don't care. In this age of Kali, people will not care for the rules and regulations. Therefore, you have to give something attractive. And therefore, the verse said of affection and love. Prithu Maharaj was so affectionate to the people. They began to glorify him. And he said, oh, wait, let me do something first. Let me do something for you. He was so desirous of protecting the people that he challenged the earth. He challenged the demigods. He said, I'm going to chastise the earth. And any demigod that wants to get in the way, come. We'll see who wins. And everyone was. So this kind of king, Ramachandra, he was so concerned about the public opinion that he banished his dear wife Sita Devi. So this is a real king. So actually, the Vishnudutas are speaking sarcastically in these verses. Even in the very beginning of this chapter, they say that, are you so ignorant? No. Just as Krishna said, Ashocha sanvashocha tam pragapadamscha vasya se katasum akatastum cha nanoshanchanchi panditaha. That you've spoken so many supposed intelligent words. And what Arjuna said was right in one sense. But what was the problem? He said, Adharma bibhavat Krishna, that we are about to commit adharma. That may have been true in an external sense. But the problem was, what was his motive for saying that? His motive is, I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to do this. No. And what is the motive of the Yamadutas? Just to follow some set of rules without considering the eligibility of the person. Without considering, even Yamaraj himself, when he's judging someone, he considers not only their sinful activities, just like in the previous chapter, in 3 or 4 verses, the Yamadutas say he was actually a wonderful Brahmin and following all the principles, but then they didn't take that into account. And the Vishnudutas, they're saying now that that's not even so important. He was a Brahmin, he fell down. No. Krishna says, apichet sudaracharo vajate mamananyabhak sarureva samantabhya. That the important thing is the condition of the consciousness in this particular moment. One may, in Kali Yuga, just like Krishna says, that every action in this world is covered by some fault, just like the fire is covered by smoke. So everything we do in Kali Yuga is contaminated. Everything someone does in this material world, you walk, you drive in a car, and you see all these little bugs splattered on the windshield. Every one of those little bugs, you have to pay for it. Every time you walk, unless you're like Mrigardi, reformed Mrigardi, that you're looking for every little ant. Every time you breathe, just like the Jains, they have a little mask. But is that going to filter out all the microorganisms? So you can't avoid it. You will inevitably commit so many mistakes. And so just as Krishna chastised Arjuna, kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupastitam, that in this moment, and the Vishnudutas are chastising the Yamadutas, in this moment, when judgment is so important, good intelligence is so important, you're simply sticking to some Vedic rules. Vedic rules are very important for managing society. But even more important are the conclusion of the Vedas. Vedaishcha sarvar ahme bhavedyo, Krishna says. That Krishna, he says, I am the purpose of the Vedas. So because Ajamil said the name Narayan, sometimes we say Narayan, but because it says 4 syllables here, we must say Narayana. It's like sometimes devotees chant the Maha Mantra, Hari Ram. So that's the 28 syllable. It's a 32 syllable mantra, not a 28, not a 24. So sometimes we mix in the Hindi with the, and in some countries, just like in Latin America, they say Krishna. Krishna. But the important thing is the consciousness. What does Krishna, what is my duty to Krishna? Atapunsa dvichashashta varnashrama vibhagashaha sunustitasya dharmasya samsirir haritoshanam. The purpose is to please Krishna. If you have that purpose, just like one of Srila Prabhupada's very dear disciples, he couldn't get the Gayatri mantra right. He said it right, but he couldn't get the pronunciation. But Prabhupada said, that's all right. You're so sincere that Krishna will accept whatever you say. So sticking to rules and regulations. Rules and regulations are good. They're meant to control society. But more important is consciousness. Just like the other day we were speaking about this. The attitude. Srila Prabhupada says that the attitude is the most important thing. What is my attitude toward Krishna consciousness? What is my motive for serving Krishna? Just like yato bhaktir dhoksaje. We say dhoksaja, ada aksha aja. That which cannot be perceived by the senses, by the eyes, because the eyes that's the sense which we depend on most, although it's not the most perfect one. The most perfect one is the ears, but because we're not very good at hearing, the eyes are very important. And so when you understand that Krishna is beyond Atmanam Manyate Jagat, he's beyond the limited, minuscule conception that I may have according to my intelligence. When we try to see Krishna through intelligence, then we can understand theoretically something about Krishna. But you can never perceive Krishna with your intelligence. You can only perceive, therefore Srila Prabhupada said, how do we perceive Krishna in this age? By chanting the holy name. And the holy name is beyond the physical, mental, and intellectual platform. It goes beyond. That was Prabhupada's first explanation, that this mantra is transcendental. It is beyond the body, the mind, and the intellect. So we have to go beyond that. And the Yamadutas here are not even using very much intellect. They are stuck. Stuck on these principles. Just like when one is too, and in I think it was the second verse in this chapter, where it's mentioned that those in charge of maintaining religious principles are needlessly punishing a sinful, unpunishable person. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that this can destroy the whole system of dharma. Just like when Prithu Maharaj was performing the Ashvamedha Yajna, and right before the last one, Indra disguised himself as a mendicant. But he was very concerned. If he does all these yajnas, then he may take over my position. I was explaining to the devotees the other day that one time Srila Prabhupada, he was in Washington, D.C. in the USA, and all the devotees came, naturally, wherever Prabhupada would come, many devotees, and they wanted to do Sankirtan. It was raining constantly. So they asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, why is Indra not cooperating? And Prabhupada said, oh, because you're doing so much sacrifice, he's concerned that you may take over his position. Therefore, he's sending rain. You can't go out on Sankirtan. So this, Indra, but Brahma said, no, you can't do this. We can chastise him, but you can't kill him. You can't kill him. Nityananda Prabhu, when Ramachandra Khan offended Haridas Thakur, Nityananda went to his place, his property, sat down in the Durga Mandap with all of his devotees. And Ramachandra Khan was so offensive, he told his servant, go tell him that, go somewhere else. And the servant said, my dear sir, you have so many followers. You should go to the house of a milkman. They have a big cow shed where all your people will fit in. This mandap is very small. And Nityananda said, yes, you're right, I should go because this place is only suitable for meat eaters. And he left. And then Ramachandra was so offensive, he dug up the place where Nityananda was sitting and threw away the dirt. So offensive. And the next day, the local tax man came, Muslim tax man. He killed a cow and cooked it right there right in that spot where they dug up the dirt. As Nityananda said, this is a place for cow killers. For 3 days, he stayed there, cooking meat right in the property, arrested Ramachandra Khan. And Srila Prabhupada says that when someone acts improperly, even their whole village can suffer. The whole village was devastated. So if there are acts of adharma, then the whole society, just like nowadays, the leaders, they're selfish. They're thinking about others. They're ignorant of the real needs of the people. And therefore, the whole world is suffering. Everyone is suffering. Even to try to be prosperous in Kali Yuga, you have to suffer so much. It's like Srila Prabhupada said, his father would go go to work, stay for 2 hours, then he would come back, because he would be worshiping the deities up until 11 o'clock in the morning. He would go from 11 to 1. He would come back. He would do some chanting and some puja. And then he would go back for another 2-3 hours in the afternoon. And he maintained himself. And Srila Prabhupada said that when society is properly organized, that people only work 4 months out of the year. That's when they're planting and when they're harvesting. And the rest of the time is pilgrimage, spiritual activity. This is how we should be living, not having to go to work every day, 8 hours a day. And then we have to sleep and eat, like Prahlad Maharaj said. How much time is there for self-realization? An hour or 2 a day. If someone has a family to maintain, it's so difficult. Just as Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that in the beginning of the 14th chapter of Adi Lila, that if you remember Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even the most difficult things become easy. And if you forget him, even the easiest things become difficult. So, and this is Kali Yuga, because the leaders of our society, Manda Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bagha Dhartaha, because the leaders are so contaminated, selfish, that unfortunately everybody has to work. Even sincere devotees have to work so hard. Actually, a devotee has double the responsibility of a normal person in society. They have to be materially responsible and spiritually responsible. And therefore, sometimes we see, devotees fall into Maya, also because of the technological wizardry of modern society. Srila Prabhupada said that modern scientists and philosophers are especially empowered by Maya to deviate us. And because they are leading society, they're serving. They're supposed to be Brahmins. They're supposed to be leading by giving knowledge. But they are serving Vaishyas and Shudras, and who are deviating everyone from Dharma. So this is a very precarious situation. And just as it says here in this particular verse, that Ajamil achieved not total perfection, but purity, just by chanting the holy name unconsciously. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives us 3 verses. There's one beautiful verse, Madhura Madhuram Etan Mangalam Mangalanam, that the holy name of Krishna is the sweetest of all sweet things, and the most auspicious of all auspicious things. Sakala Nigama Bali. It is the highest fruit of the tree of spirituality and religiosity. Tat Palam. It is the most spiritual fruit. Chit Swarupam. Totally 100% spiritual. And Sakritapi Parikitam. If we chant that holy name just one time, Shradaya Helaya Va, or with faith or even with negligence, then he says, O Bhrigu Bhara Nara Matram, oh my dear descendant of the Bhrigu dynasty, Tarayat Krishna Nama, that the holy name of Krishna will deliver us from everything. And as Rupa Goswami said, that no jane janita amrita kiadbir amritai Krishna varnadvai. These 2 syllables, Krishna, contain so much nectar that one cannot fathom how much nectar there is. Just like sometimes when I reflect on that, I say that neophyte devotees, they have trouble chanting because they're not attracted. And pure devotees, they have trouble chanting also because they have so much attraction. When they hear Krishna, they can go into ecstasy. They have to control their ecstasy so they can chant their prescribed number of rounds. You have to tone it down, tone down your ecstasy, just like Srila Prabhupada. When he was in the zone where I am, in Caracas, Venezuela, he started chanting, glorifying Gornitai, Paramakaruna. And he just said Paramakaruna, and he went into ecstasy. Tears were coming from his eyes. He couldn't speak, and he just stopped. And nobody knew what to do. Everybody was sitting there. What do we do? And then devotees just, after a couple of minutes, devotees were just chanting. And then Prabhupada came back. Prabhupada, pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, on that level, they have to be careful. Just like Daruka, he was fanning Krishna. And then he was going into ecstasy. And he had to like stop his ecstasy so it didn't interfere with his service. And one time, who was it? Mukunda. Mukunda was the doctor, and one of his patients was the Nawab. So at one point, he had to fan the Nawab. And he was fanning, and he stopped. And then, he said, I'm sorry. He gave some excuse. He said, no, you are in spiritual ecstasy. Even these Nawabs, although they were Muslim, they were actually converted. Most of them were converted to Islam. They weren't from Persia. They were actually converted. So they had Vedic culture in their hearts. Just like in the first Delhi Rath Yatra, I was there. And so, it was the first one. It was like 8 hours long. And so after about 5 hours, I really had to find some facility for relief. And I went one store to another. No. And I came to one Muslim man, big beard. And I said, and he saw me. He said, yes, you can use. So I went in, came out, and I said, thank you very much. He said, Jai Jagannath. So, this is the effect of Krishna consciousness. This is the effect of unconsciously hearing the holy name of Krishna. The effect is so great that even someone from some other religion, just like we see our devotees sometimes on Harinam, when the devotees are actually chanting purely and when they're actually meditating. When we go on Harinam Sankirtan, we should meditate on giving the holy name. Just like when we go out to distribute books, we meditate on giving these books. We meditate on, this person needs this. And when Lord Chaitanya perceives that that degree of compassion is present in the heart of the devotee or in the heart of the Harinam, then all kinds of people will be attracted. Actually, I've seen practically when the devotees are distracted that the people don't pay attention. But when the devotees are really sincerely wanting to give the holy name, then the holy name penetrates. Because we are simply messengers of the holy name. We are the carriers of the holy name. We're taking the holy name to these people. And just as in this case, Ajamil chanted without offenses. When Satyaraj Khan asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, I'm a Grihastha. This was in Rath Yatra. Satyaraj Khan and the residents of Kulinagram, they would bring the silk ropes to pull the cart. So he said, what is the hope for me, a family man, so entangled in material existence? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said two things, Vaishnava Seva and Harinam, Nirantara Harinam. That you chant incessantly the holy name and you serve the Vaishnavas. So he said, what is a Vaishnava? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, someone who chants the holy name once. But what did he mean? It's chanting one. We've all chanted so many times. We should say, oh, well, I'm beyond any consider. No. You chant once without offenses. Just a little detail. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also sings that. Just chant the holy name once. Just like, I don't know here in India, but in the US, they have potato chips. And they say the saying on there, I bet you can only eat only one. No. Otherwise, if you eat one, then you will continue to eat. No. So we try to get everyone, just chant His holy name once. No. And you won't be able to give it up. No. And therefore, our temples, our programs, our preaching, our book distribution, everything is made in such a way that we want to get people to chant and create the atmosphere that they chant happily. They feel happiness from the holy name. And then right from that happiness, they will just want to chant more. And that is our duty. When people come, try to make them feel like this is Vaikuntha. This is the place where you can actually be happy. Or we give out the books. With this book, you will be happy. You will get real happy. Not the temporary, low-class happiness that you get from trying to give pleasure to this body or to the mind. This is very low-grade happiness. Low-grade, just like when you buy something made in China, you know that it's probably not the best quality. If you get made in Switzerland, then it's probably better quality. But it will cost more. So the low-grade happiness, we can get it anywhere. It's very cheap. But how long will it last? Before it breaks, before it goes away. How long is the happiness of eating? Sometimes you don't even finish the meal, and it's gone because you ate too much, or because somebody came over, and it was just enough for me, my favorite dish, and 10 people came. So I have to, give them all and I just get one little piece. How much happiness can we get from this? This is low-grade happiness. But real happiness, spiritual happiness, Krishna consciousness, it only anandam buddhi bhardhanam. It increases more and more and more. But to convince people of that, it has to happen to you. Otherwise, you can't convince them. You're just giving some theory. But better to give the theory than nothing, because if you give the theory with sincerity, even though you're just like Ajamil, he didn't know what he was doing. He was calling his son. But because he did the right thing. So if we do the right thing, we take Srila Prabhupada's books and we distribute them, even though we may not be so pure, because we have the sincere desire to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we have the faith that by giving this holy name, that by giving this transcendental knowledge, that what Srila Prabhupada is presenting is perfect. As Krishna said to Arjuna, asamshayam samagram mam. When you can clear out these doubts, the doubts of all doubt means material desire. That's what a doubt means. When you have no more material desires, there will be no doubts. So Krishna tells Arjuna that just take this Krishna, Maya Saktamana Partha, Yogam Yunjan Marashrayaha. Just become attached to me. When you become attached to me, then all your doubts will be dissipated. And then Krishna will be established in your heart. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing here. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. We should have so much faith in the holy name that we know it is capable of destroying more sins than people can commit. Now someone may say, one time devotees asked Srila Prabhupada about this quote. They said, Srila Prabhupada, is this some exaggeration just to make people, give them the faith? Prabhupada said, no, it is true. So one may say, well, wait a minute, I've chanted so many times and still, the effects of my sinful activity. Yes, the effect may be there. But if you're chanting sincerely, even one time, the actual result is gone. You're just receiving the effect which is coming because we have to continue with this body until the end of this life. It is a product of certain karmic situations in the past. But as Srila Prabhupada explained, that when we have faith, tatte nukampam susamikshamano bhunjane vatmakritam vipakam, that we understand that whatever Krishna gives me is actually for my benefit. If we just understand that, and we understand that I have to go through this because I did things in the past. Atmakrita, it's all my creation. It's not somebody's imposing some miserable condition upon me. That cannot happen. Nobody can impose. Yeah, they can do that, but they are, as Srila Prabhupada said, instruments of your karma. We should see everyone. Therefore, of course, a Kshatriya may see an aggressor and want to kill them. That's his duty. He has to kill aggressors. But a devotee thinks, unless somebody is acting against a devotee or the Supreme Lord, a devotee thinks, oh, this is something that Krishna is sending just to diminish my false ego. Thank you very much, Krishna. And then we become happy. When we try to counteract everything by some temporary measure, then it's just like quicksand. The more you move, the more you sink. The more we try to counteract the material situations in life, instead of accepting them as Krishna's mercy and understanding that Krishna is just telling us this material world is not your home. Because we like to build our nest in this material world and feel very comfortable. So Krishna will send us reminders. No, this is not your home. This is not your place. You have to come back to my lotus feet. And just to conclude, where do you find a master? Where do you find a wealthy person who invites you, come and live with me? He may invite you to come be the gardener, or come be the gate guard, but they won't invite you. But Krishna is the wealthiest person, Bhagavan, and he's inviting us, come and live with me. Not only does Krishna want us to come and stay with him, he wants to become subordinate to us. He wants that. He won't do it until we of course, we are personal associates. But that's what he wants. He is the first servant. He gave us everything. He gave us this material body because we wanted it. He gives us everything we need. He's actually serving us. But we shouldn't think, oh, that's great. No. Ishara apritasya viparyayo ashmiti. The Bhagavatam says, when one is confused and thinks that Maya is the actual cause of everything, then our position becomes reversed and we think, yes, it's so nice that Krishna, that God is there to provide me what I need. Wonderful, good. I'm very happy that he's realized who I am. So we have to give up that mentality and simply desire to serve Krishna, and Krishna will take care of everything. So these are some thoughts on this verse. I'll stop here. Sorry, I went a little over. But since everyone was speaking about my upadhis for so long, then I took up some time. So I have a little hearing problem. Try to speak a little slowly. Sometimes you speak English like Hindi and. If anyone has a question. If you don't, then yes.
Maharaj, thank you for this wonderful class. So you spoke about glories of holy name. So though we hear glories of holy name from many devotees, from Prabhupada, and we read also in Srila Prabhupada books, but like when it comes to the practical, So putting faith in holy name. So many times faith shakes, it gets shakes. So how to make faith steady in holy name in difficult situations when your calamities comes, instead of going to holy name, taking shelter of holy name, like I many times go for another shelters, different other shelters than taking shelter of holy name, because I'm lacking faith in holy name. So how I can grow in my faith, make steady in holy name?
Well, Krishna is assisting us because through his energies, he is creating circumstances. Because why will we not take shelter of the holy name? The living entity has to take shelter of something. You either take shelter of Maya or Krishna. No. So if we're not taking shelter of the holy name, it automatically means that we're taking shelter of Maya. So Krishna very mercifully sends us all kinds of indications of why we should not take shelter of Maya. He's sending, we have this body, just like we're sitting here for, 45 minutes, an hour. The knees start hurting, the back starts aching. Krishna's just constantly sending it. We get hungry, we have to go to sleep, we have to get up. But we think this is okay. Otherwise, we're willing to do all kinds of sacrifices for material enjoyment, which is temporary, but we're not willing to do sacrifices to get the permanent transcendental bliss that comes from the holy name. So we should just try to meditate like that. Why am I so foolish? Every minute, there's some bodily problem, some mental disturbance, some intellectual dilemma. No, at every moment, every day. But we're so desirous of enjoying the senses that we tolerate that. So if we become so desirous, tatalalyam api mulyam ekalam, as Rupa Goswami says, you have to have intense greed, understanding the nectar, like we're hearing so much nectar about the holy name in this chapter and the next chapter. If you just meditate on that and you develop that greed, then you will tolerate any interference in order to get it. Right now we're tolerating people go to work, 8 hours a day, 1 hour of transport going, 1 hour of transport coming. Then you come back to the family and they make their demands. We have to deal with one mind. If you have a family, you have to deal with like 3 or 4 minds. All of them demanding this and that. And we tolerate all that for what? So I can sit around I'm talking about ordinary people, sit around for 2 hours and watch television. Just like in America, everybody has their dog inside. So I always say, the dog is the real master. The dog sits in the big chair, like this big chair here, for 8-10 hours a day. Only when the master comes home for 2 hours, then the dog has to get down. So who's the real master? So, we just have to use our intelligence, and just see just analyze what life is about, what's happening to us, what we're going through every day. Because the nature of the soul is ananda, then we have to have some bliss. And if we don't get that bliss from chanting and hearing and associating with devotees and worshiping the deities, then we will get it. We have to have it. It is our nature. Therefore, we will take the low grade, not ananda, but low grade happiness, because it's essential for our existence. We must have it. But when we feel that happiness by serving Krishna, then we get real happiness, which increases. Just like everybody, it likes to serve someone. We get the greatest happiness from helping someone. You feel very good if you help someone, some poor person, like people, they give charity, helping some people. You feel good. You feel much better doing that than watching a movie or, eating some ice cream cone or whatever. You feel much more happiness. So we should understand that service actually gives us the greatest happiness. And when you really understand that and feel that within your heart, then you will, the attraction for the holy name increases.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for wonderful class. Maharaj, you told in the middle of the lecture there is a pastimes happening between Yamdutas and Vishnu Dutas. So, in regarding Yamdutas, you told pointed Yamduta motive is just to follow some rules. He is following the rules of the Yamraj authority. So his authority is Yamraj, and whatever the Yamraj told, he is just following the rules without taking care of the other things. Like Vishnu Dutas here telling that chanting of holy name is more superior than the following some rules. So this is like when we are coming in the bhakti. So we are coming with our own backgrounds, whatever we know, and whatever the Guru told, we just follow. So it is not like that I am also like a Yamduta only. I am following some rules of the authority. I'm not checking it is correct or not because I does not have that understanding to find out to discriminate whatever the Guru is telling is correct or not. So in that type of condition, how I have to be work on my thing.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Sanatana Goswami and that from Padma Purana that Smartavya Satatam Vishnu Vishmartavyo Nachatujit, that the two most important things are always to remember Krishna and never forget him. These are the two most important things. Sarve vidhe nisidha sur etayor evaking karaha. All other rules and regulations are meant to support these two things. So if we always remember that. So remembering Krishna, I always reflected on that. It means chanting the holy name. And not forgetting Krishna means following the four regulated principles. So Prabhupada said again and again, if we only do these two things, then our life will be successful. In Venezuela, when Srila Prabhupada was departing, he said that if you sincerely chant 16 rounds every day, and you follow these four regulated principles, even in the mind, then you will see Krishna face to face in this lifetime. Of course, we're doing that every day. We're seeing Krishna face to face. But to realize that here is Krishna face to face, like Lord Chaitanya, when he saw Lord Jagannath after 2 weeks of separation, when he saw Lord Jagannath, he couldn't stop looking at it. We can stop very quickly. And we see the deities for 5 minutes. Okay, I did it. Now let me go do what I want to do. No. But when we can't tear ourselves away, then we're seeing Krishna face to face in the form of the deity. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, seeing Krishna means that you see that everything is Krishna's property, not that you want to see Krishna personally dancing before you. We don't want to see Krishna like an entertainment, like going to a program and see someone dancing. No. We don't want Krishna to be our entertainer. We want to see that everything belongs to Krishna, and therefore I have to serve Krishna by making everything, by serving him, by bringing all this material energy back into the realm of his service. That's what we're doing. We're reclaiming the material world for Krishna. The rebellious materialists are trying to take it from Krishna, and we're taking it back. By making temples, by going out and doing Harinam Sankirtan. And let people understand this all belongs to Krishna. Your body belongs to Krishna. Just like Sanatana Goswami, or even, who was it? Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta knew that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be leaving. So one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to his house and he had a knife nearby. He was thinking, I cannot tolerate that. He was thinking, let me take my life. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what is that knife for? He said, no, I know. That body belongs to me. And he said the same thing to Sanatana Goswami. That body belongs to me. I have plans for that body. No. So we have to let people understand that This is not yours. Some people, sometimes we say my body. It's not my body, it's Krishna's body. I'm using it for some time. Somebody, I didn't even create it. My mother and father, they combined and the elements came together. The body was there. I came into it. I use it for some time and I'll give it up. Have to give it back. So if you have to give something back, then you should give it back in good condition. So we give it back in good condition means I have spiritualized it. I've Krishnized it. Then I give it back in the proper condition. And that will allow me to go back home, back to Godhead. So I have to stop here. Oh, okay, one more question. Okay. Thank you all very much. Oh. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Nitai Gopi Menandi. Hare Krishna.